Hello, everyone. Welcome to Turn Writing Fear Around podcast. Simple methods to overcome fear and start writing again. I'm Elise Hittinger, and I'm the host for your journey to courage. This is episode 4, How to Get Back on the Horse. After I had my accident, I didn't have a problem getting back on the horses in the arena. I could ride in the arena no problem, but I couldn't take one step outside the arena. I was petrified. My accident had happened at a campground, and even the thought of going for a trail ride just made me shake. But I knew I wanted to trail ride. I knew I had to be able to take that first step. And where we live now in Kentucky, the only way to do that was to get on the horse outside the pasture. So I moved the mounting block out there, and I had to figure out how I was going to take that first step, putting my leg over the horse and getting on. So the first thing is you want to make absolutely certain that your horse stands quietly at the mounting block. For me, that's a non-negotiable. And that wasn't always the case. I used to always get on with my horse walking. Whether I was getting a leg up, whether I was getting on at a mounting block, my horse was always walking and I just swing my leg over and get on. Well, then I realized how dangerous that really is. Anything could happen. And so I started teaching my horses to stand at the mounting block, non-negotiable. And to do this, I like to take them to the mounting block from an opposite direction. So if I'm getting on, I want to lead them from the right-hand side and lead them up so that they're facing the opposite direction. So their right side is by the mounting block. And then I climb up on the mounting block and I just ask them to move their hind end all the way around. And for every horse and training method, that's different for everybody. How I do it is I just swing the lead rope over their back and tap on their right hip. So they're swinging their right hip around the outside until their left hip comes up next to the mounting block. So that's how I do it. And then I might back them off the mounting block and walk off. I might lead them forward off the mounting block and walk off. But I don't just get on. I do that a number of times. Like while I'm tacking up, I'll go in the middle after I'm done grooming and before I put the saddle on, I'll go to the mounting block and have them come over and stand quietly so that we're not always getting on at the mounting block. And you can do the same thing with mounting. You can go through all the process of what you would do to mount, but don't actually mount. I can't even describe how important this is, and I never thought it was important. I really did not think it was important. But after I got on that horse, when I got my leg onto the when I got my butt onto the saddle, got the leg over the horse, I knew I was in trouble. That second, I knew I was in trouble. But if I'd really prepared to mount him and had him prepared to mount, I would have never gotten on. I would have known before my accident that I was going to have an accident. So really important, make sure your horse knows how to stand quietly to be mounted. And then the last thing I do before I mount is I actually rock the horse back a little bit to make sure that they're set their feet and they know, hey, I'm getting on now. I don't do this when I'm practicing because I really want that to be kind of a cue. Hey, I'm getting on. So after all the prep work, after they're standing quiet at the mounting block, the next thing is actually mounting. And with that, I just reach up and put my hand on the front of the saddle, my hand on the back of the saddle, and I just gently rock them back and forth until they spread their feet out a little bit or until they're, oh, you can tell, okay, I'm sturdy, I'm safe, I don't have my legs crossed, I'm not resting a foot. And then you have to get on. Now for me, my horses are 16 too, and I'm 5'3", so I use a mounting block. But what I do as I'm mounting is I don't put weight in the stirrup. I just put my hands on so that the weight is on my hands as I swing my leg over. and I gently sit down on their back. I don't worry about putting my feet in the stirrups. I don't worry about any of that until I'm already on. But that swinging the leg over and sitting down gently, and then I'll take a breath or two, or maybe even four. We talked about the Ferris wheel breathing and the square breathing. Now's a great time to practice that. And then guess what? Get back off, go for a walk, back your horse off the mounting block, do something different, and then come back to the mounting block and do it again. And you can do it a number of times. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why this is so important. So with Teka, I had trained her completely to stand quietly at the mounting block. And for whatever silly reason, one day I decided to get on from the right. And I don't ever get on from the right. It was the first time ever. And why I thought I should get on from the right, not practicing it on the ground first, not doing anything, I don't know. But as I swung my leg over her, and she's of course standing perfectly quiet, a cat caught a bunny rabbit right under her belly, right under the mounting block. And that bunny was screaming, and that cat was growling, and there was a fight right under her feet, right under her belly. And she stood perfectly still. Because I was already in the process of mounting, I went ahead and got on, and I knew there was no way I was getting back off. It was going to be a disaster. So I just asked her to walk off, figuring that if the cat and the bunny rabbit got stepped on, I'm sorry, but it was my life or theirs. And I rode off. And that just gave me such huge courage. First of all, to know that I had gotten my horse to a point that she would stand at the mounting block through that, and that I could actually get on and ride off after that happened. She wasn't necessarily quiet when we rode off. I will say I had the biggest trot I've ever had for about 30 minutes, but that was okay. It was phenomenal to feel her being okay with taking care of me. Well, that's it for episode 4. If you've enjoyed this, be sure you grab my book, Rise from Fear to Courage. I'll put a link in the description. And you guys have a wonderful day. See you.